Hey guys, Aaron Cybertron Zhang here, and today I'm back with another episode of Road to Ranked where I climb the online Regulation C VGC ladder in Pokemon Scarlet and Violet and provide live commentary as I go. In this video, I'll be trying out a really cool team featuring Dachsbun. This team finished 19th at the Fort Wayne Regional Championships, which took place in the beginning of April, and Dachsbun is in a really interesting place in the format right now. The idea is that you can combine it with Chi Yu, which can instantly boost Dachsbun's defense thanks to Lava Plume. Lava Plume is also a really nice attack because it has a 30% chance to burn, and so you can use it to pressure opposing Pokemon, deal a lot of damage while also burning them, and then Dachsbun can just boost its defense up very quickly through this combination. Dachsbun in general right now is in a really solid spot, especially because there are so many physical Pokemon in the format, especially things like Dragonite and Chimpao, as well as Palafin, for example, and so the defense boost can really wall opposing physical Pokemon. As always, I'll do a quick breakdown of the team, but if you want to just skip to the battles, check out the timestamps down below, and thank you so much as always for watching. If you enjoy, I'd really appreciate it if you consider leaving a like in the video or subscribing to the channel. It really helps out a ton. Anyway, let's dive into things. First of all, a huge thank you to Brendan, aka Shy Dude, for building and sharing this team. I've linked this Twitter down in the description below, as well as a rental and a paste. And question of the day, with us using Dachsbun, I want to know what your favorite dog breed is down in the comment section below. For me, I love Corgis, Shibas, and Bichons in particular. So let me know yours. The first Pokemon to talk about, of course, is Dachsbun. And like I mentioned, one of the reasons why this Pokemon is pretty underrated right now is because there are just so many physical attackers in the format. And so it can completely wall physical attackers, especially after Chi Yu gets a couple of Lava Plumes onto it. So the ability is amazing. It just gives you immunity into fire-type attacks, which is also good into opposing Chi Yu and Arcanine, for example, both which are pretty meta right now. And the idea is that you can just lead Chi Yu and Dachsbun and immediately start Lava Pluming. Chi Yu here can actually deal really significant damage with Lava Plume, even though it's not the strongest attack, because it has such great base special attack, and Lava Plume's burn chance is also really nice. And so yeah, Chi Yu plus Dachsbun as a lead is incredibly effective. Dachsbun here has Ghost Terra, which gives you immunity into normal, which is nice against like extreme speed from Arcanine as well as Dragonite, and you've got Wish to essentially heal up consistently. Now obviously with this moveset you are going to be walled by ghost type Pokemon like Fluttermane and Golden Ghost, so you do have to be pretty careful about that, as well as Ghost Terras from the opposing end. And Yawn is for really good disruption here and kind of forces opponents to switch out. Really valuable in a format right now where there's so much setup going across the board. And so yeah, once again, main idea is combine it with Chi Yu. Scarf Chi Yu, really strong. I think you just have to be a little bit careful about opposing Scarf Mons that are faster than Chi Yu, as well as booster energy Pokemon, as well as like Tailwind setups, for example. But there are a lot of matchups where your opponents just don't have a way to outspeed Chi Yu or deny it from getting that immediate Lava Plume off. And even one single Lava Plume with Dachsbun is just such a strong combo immediately. The next combo to talk about is Dragonite and Chimpao. This is a really standard duo in the format right now, but there are a lot of different ways that people run it in terms of the Dragonite set in particular. And this one's pretty interesting because it's actually Clear Amulet plus Multi-Scale, no Lumberry, no Assault Vest, no Choice Band on Dragonite. The idea is that with Clear Amulet, you obviously really shut down opposing Intimidates from things like Gyarados and Arcanine, and Multi-Scale means that it's really difficult to knock out Dragonite easily. No Dragon Dance here, it's just a full offensive set with Extreme Speed, Terra Blast, and Iron Head. And the idea is that, you know, Flying Terra, Terra Blast obviously does a ton. You don't necessarily need a Choice Band to increase that damage output, especially because you have Chimpao lowering your opponent's defenses. Iron Head's really nice into Fluttermane, and then Extreme Speed is just valuable utility and priority across the board. Chimpao here is pretty standard. The one thing to call out is that it does not have Sacred Sword, but it's double Dark type attack with Throat Chop and Sucker Punch, Dark Terra to further increase your damage output. And to round things out, you've got Azumarill as well as Fluttermane. The Fluttermane here is a Perish Song variant, which can give you a slightly better matchup into, say, opposing Dondozos. As you'll notice, this Flutter is really fast. It's 132 speed EVs, and with that booster energy, you will get a speed boost on Flutter. And so the idea is to try to just outpace your opponents. Perish is really valuable into some of the bulkier setups, especially Dondozo, which otherwise can be really scary to go up against because it can ignore the defense boost from Dachsbun, thanks to Unaware. And then Azumarill here is the final Mon. Azumarill's in a pretty interesting place in this specific meta because it obviously matches up quite well into Dark-type Pokemon, and all of the Room Pokemon are part Dark-type, right? And so Azumarill pressures a lot of damage onto those. You also have Aqua Jet, which is really solid across the board, especially against something like Fluttermane, for example, which just has really low defenses in general. And the Lumberry here helps out a lot against Will-O-Wisp from Arcanine, as well as Spore from Amoonguss. So I think one of the primary modes you can go with is just Chi Yu Dachsbun as a lead, and then in the back, like really any two of the four work, but like Dragonite, Chimpao is especially especially strong. Flutter plus one of the three is especially strong as well. That's one mode to consider. You definitely could just lead with Chien-Pao and Dragonite immediately to put on a lot of offensive pressure, close out the game with Chi Yu Dachsbun. Obviously, you don't always have to bring Dachsbun, right? Like, this does suffer a little bit against Pokemon that can, like, remove its stat boost, for example, like Haze. That can be a little bit scary. Obviously, it doesn't love going up against Ghost types because it can't hit them at all. So that's just some food for thought. But yeah, that's it for a quick breakdown. Let's quickly highlight some weaknesses. So in terms of weaknesses, the original team creator mentioned like Glimmora and then Dondozo plus Tatsugiri are both just pretty scary to go up against, which I definitely agree. I think Glimmora just like defensively can match up really well against a lot of these Pokemon, can threaten a lot with super effective damage as well, and obviously set up like the toxic spikes as well through its ability, and so that's one Pokemon to watch out for in particular. Dondozo Tatsu, you do have the Perish Song here, but even then it can still be a little bit tricky. As I mentioned, for Dachsbun in particular, opposing Ghost types and opposing ways to like get rid of the stat boost can also be pretty scary. Ghost types in particular can just like wall Dachsbun completely, and I think so like one of the main things about Dachsbun is we're playing in a meta where Flutter Mane obviously exists everywhere, and so if you're able to like knock out your opponent's Flutter early, that can really enable Dachsbun for the late game, and so that's some food for thought as well. I think one other thing to think about, like I mentioned, is Chi Yu. If you are up against opposing booster Pokemon, like opposing booster Flutter or Bundle, which I've run into, that can be a little bit scary. And for example, I think had a match where my opponent led like Tailwind plus a really strong attacker against Chi Yu Dachsbun. They just pressured Tailwind and then a one-hit knockout onto Chi Yu. So you have to be a little bit careful in leading Chi Yu plus Dachsbun because sometimes you might just actually end up in a super unfavorable position. And so that's one thing to consider in particular. But yeah, I think like Dachsbun's really strong, but in itself, there are a fair amount of things that can counter it. And like I said, Dondozo is also just really tricky. You do have the Flutter with Perish Song, but like if Flutter gets eliminated early, or if Dondozo just like takes enough KOs in the early game, then even if you KO Dondozo, you still have to deal with everything else afterwards effectively. And so yeah, those are a couple things that I've run into personally. I think another thing here is like Dragonite not having Lumberry means that it's left a little bit more exposed into Amoonguss. No Grass Terra on Dachsbun also means Amoonguss can be a little bit scarier, right? And so you do have to watch out for that. Obviously, Chi Yu threatens Amoonguss with super effective damage, as does Chien-Pao, but a defensive Terra from Amoonguss, especially something like a Water Terra, for example, could be really scary, especially with the lack of Grass Terra, Lumberry, or Assault Vest. Lumberry does exist on the Azumarill, but I'd say Azumarill's matchup into Amoonguss in particular is not exactly the best, right? If you can bait out a Terra, though, like a Water Terra, then play Rough Hits it for super effective damage, so that's some food for thought. I think one thing that's huge for this team is kind of getting your opponent's Terra out ideally early, so then you can, go with more consistent damage afterwards instead of worrying about, like a Ghost Terra coming out against the Dachsbun, for example, or a defensive Terra against the Chi Yu. So that's one other thing to consider. But yeah, that's it for some weaknesses. Let's get into the games. Okay, we've got basically a Palafin balance team here. Now, what's interesting is that they have Baxcalibur, so I could actually theoretically raise Baxcalibur's attack with the Chi Yu Dachsbun combo, which scares me a little bit, but the defense boost on Dachsbun, I would say, kind of makes up for it. We obviously have to worry a little bit about Palafin, like just going for Jet Punch onto Chi Yu immediately. Like, I think Palafin Baxcalibur as a lead is pretty scary from their end. Azumarill's really good into that. Because one play I can make is like protect Dachsbun and then switch Chi Yu into Azumarill. So I should probably bring Azumarill in this one. They've got Ting Lu. I really like Dragonite here, honestly. Like, Flying Terra Dragonite, I feel like clears a lot of things. Chien-Pao's okay. Flutter doesn't feel great with the Ting Lu, and just with the amount of like general bulk that they have. I think you can make an argument for Chien-Pao, but let's go with these four. If they do not lead with Palafin, I think I'm going to try to just get Dachsbun to +2 immediately, because this thing at +2 will already start putting in work. And I think one of the things to think about in this matchup is my opponent does have Ting Lu. If they have Fisher, like, Fisher Ting Lu loves going up against like a Pokemon like Dachsbun here, right? So they're going to go with Ting Lu plus the Palafin immediately, which is fine by me for now. I don't need this defense boost to start. Because I'm pretty worried about them just jet punching into me. I could Terra. One of the considerations here is does Ghost Terra actually do anything for Dachsbun? Honestly, not really. I think Dragonite's a very solid Terra candidate in this one as well, though, is the thing. So the play I'm thinking about is switching into Azumarill. And starting off with a body press. I kind of want to just send it though, honestly. Lava Plume. Body press. The idea is with Ghost Terra here, it covers for them going for like Water Terra, Mystic Water Jet Punch with Baby Palafin. I think Dragonite is like a really solid Terra candidate here because Terra Blast is just really incredible, but I actually think Dachsbun's really well positioned to just like start boosting, but this works out as well. They actually just go for Protect. So we get to +2 defense immediately. If I had to guess, Ting Lu is probably going for a ground type attack onto the Chi Yu, which I'm more than okay with. One of the nice things about this team, I was just going to say, is that Lava Plume has a really solid burn chance as well, so we actually just burn Ting Lu immediately. Oh, that did so much damage. Yeah, for Heavy Slam. Nice. That did nothing after the burn and the defense boost. The burn was obviously quite lucky, but even if we didn't get that, Dachsbun would still have plenty of HP. So, obviously a very solid turn there. Okay. Their only body press switch-in is that Flutter Mane, but Flutter Mane takes a fair amount of damage from Lava Plume, so here I'm honestly down to just Lava Plume and then body press into Palafin. I think I could also consider Yawn right now, but I just have so much offensive pressure from turn 1. So, let's see. And they bring out Baxcalibur, beautiful. So it's like, yeah, you get the thermal exchange boost, but does that really help? Because I'm just going to body press you with the +4 defense body press. Okay, Ting Lu survives, but after one more Lava Plume, it will faint. Now we get a +4 body press into Baxcalibur, and that's out of the way. If they don't have Fissure here this turn and connect with it, I think we should just be in a super winning position. But they do have the Fissure. Fortunately, it misses. This is why I did want to aggressively start targeting down the Ting Lu, though, rather than just going for, like, Yawn, for example. The fewer opportunities it gets to click Fissure, the better for me, right? And at this point, we have almost KO'd it. Looks to be Assault Vest to me. Palafin comes back out. And yeah, you've transformed, but what in the world is Palafin going to do against a +4 defense Dachsbun, right? I've still got a Azumarill and Dragonite in the back. I think here, I'm actually down to switch Chi Yu out into the Azumarill. Oh, I guess Palafin here could have Haze, theoretically. So I'm down to just click Lava Plume and then body press here. Because Lava Plume will knock out the Ting Lu. Ting Lu ends up switching out. That's fine. They go out into a Moongus. Perfect. Don't mind seeing that at all. And Palafin Terra's fine. Yeah, the idea here was to just, like, make sure I pressure Ting Lu for a KO. I really don't want Ting Lu to just, like, potentially get another free Fissure off. I think Protect switching into a Azumarill still probably works. Like, even if they haze, it's not the end of the world for me, right? Because then they just end up fainting with the Ting Lu. But yeah, we got Dachsbun to +3 or +6 defense in just 3 turns. That's got to be a crit, right? Okay, I was like, that really should not KO. Lava Plume's not that strong. Curious if the +6 body press was just going to KO the Palafin here. They go for Wave Crash. On to Dachsbun. Yeah. This Pokemon is nuts. Oh my goodness. I could not have asked for a better feature game for Dachsbun. Like, we literally got it to +6 defense in 3 turns. It picked up a knockout on Baxcalibur, a knockout on Palafin. I mean, the crit was lucky, but I don't think, like, the RNG in this game on my side really would have affected things much. Because it's like, even if I didn't get the burn on Ting Lu, like, Heavy Slam still does, like, you know, under 50%, for example. The main thing was dodging that Fissure. I think if Fissure hits, it's obviously a very different game. The odds are obviously in my favor there, but 30% is still quite scary. And that's one of the things about Ting Lu, right? It just kind of sticks on the field for a long time. But yeah, this is one of the reasons why Chi Yu Dachsbun I think is really cool. Because our opponent's running fairly standard composition. Like, the only thing that makes it a little bit different, I would say, is the Baxcalibur. Otherwise, like, the Ting Lu, Amoonguss, Palafin, Arcanine, Flutter Mane core is everywhere right now, and that's one of the reasons why I really like this Chi Yu Dachsbun combination. So, what a fun way to get started here. Okay, we've got a, looks like a dual screens, like, very bulky, more stall-oriented team, with probably Bulk Up Annihilate, Pollen Puff, Leech Seed, Foul Play, potentially on the Wo-Chien. Curious about the Ting Lu set. The Glamora here can obviously spread poison, which is a little bit scary. Gyarados, like, I've seen a lot of support-oriented Gyaradoses recently with, like, Thunder Wave. So that could be the case. Dachsbun boosting its defense isn't bad here once again, especially because having a super effective Lava Plume into the Klefki is solid. I honestly might just lead it again here. The reality is that I can't deny both screens, right? But I think Lava Plume plus Body Press onto a turn 1 might be fairly strong. In the back, Flying Terra Dragonite's really good into the runes here, right? I could bring a Zoomra. It's probably Chien-Pao. But then I'm indexing really heavily on physical attackers. Like, I'm thinking maybe it should be Fluttermane instead of Chien-Pao. I'm going to go with Chien-Pao mainly because the Glamora actually scares me a little bit as well. But we'll see. The general goal, of course, is to just get Dachsbun a +6 defense again. I think this game is a little bit scary, mainly because they have a ton of bulk to work with, including that Klefki, which can set up dual screens. And they obviously have both Tinglu and Wo-Chien, which can drop my attack and special attack. Mainly thinking if I brought the right 2 Pokemon in the back, but I feel okay with this as the lead. Klefki Gyarados. Okay. It's once again a consideration of who do I want to Terra in this game. I really would like to conserve my Terra for Dragonite ideally, I think, because I feel like Terra Blast is really good into what they have in the back. It just means I might lose Chi Yu on turn 1, but that's okay. I think even getting a +2 defense is a good start. So I'm going to go Lava Plume Body Press to start. I expect Klefki to set up Light Screen here. Mainly curious about Gyarados. It could just launch a Waterfall into the Chi Yu slot. It could go for like a Taunt or a Thunder Wave, for example. But to me, the main debate this turn was whether or not I wanted to consider going for a Terra with Chi Yu to get to +4 defense rather than +2. But kind of the thought process there is it makes the Dragonite significantly weaker for me. And I think Dragonite's really good in this matchup because of that Terra Blast. So, yeah. Lava Plume does so much to Klefki, even through Light Screen. Gets a burn as well, so... yeah, like... Lava Plume's burn rate feels so good. And Body Press actually just secures the knockout, so the burn is irrelevant. Which makes me feel a little bit better. Obviously, I don't really want to rely on any luck to win. And there's Waterfall. Cool. I will take that trade any day, because essentially the Klefki's Light Screen is irrelevant in this game, right? Because I only have physical attackers right now anyway. So, that was kind of the theory behind how this played out. I think the thing is, when you go up against something like a Grimmsnarl or a Klefki, the goal is to make sure it only gets, like, 1 of 2 screens off, ideally, or it gets both screens off, but then just stays on the field for forever while you, like, target down its partner. So Annihilate comes out. I can put Annihilate to sleep with Yawn. I also have this Terra Blast. I don't mind protecting, I think, this turn. I don't know. I could just Flying Terra Blast immediately as well. Yeah, I'm pretty down for that, actually. And then just Yawn. We have Clear Amulet on Dragonite, which is kind of cool as well. So even if they were to switch Gyarados out and then back in, it would not really be too much of a problem. I'm mainly curious if Annihilate goes for a Terra this turn. The thing about if you Terra the Annihilate, then I can start body pressing. And right now, the Dachsbun is up against 2 physical attackers, so it's really well positioned. Good protect. Yeah, that's kind of the, like, logic behind me considering a double protect. I just didn't want Annihilate to get, like, a free bulk up off for no reason. But that was a great play by my opponent. You would think Annihilate's going to go for a potential Terra this next turn. It is Thunder Wave on Gyarados, yep. That's fine. Like, Gyarados should lose to Dachsbun in the long run, so I'm not really worried about that slot too much right now. I'm willing to go for the same play right now. Even if Annihilate Terras, like I mentioned, it means that Body Press can start dealing damage. And right now, like, Annihilate shouldn't really threaten us with that much damage. So, even though my opponent had a really good last turn, it's still fine. Like, I would have been better off just clicking Protect with both of my Pokemon. We would have protected all around. Then I could go for Terra Blast plus Body Press. The thing is, now they know I have Terra Blast, so they can defensively Terra, which looks like to be the case. But even then, I don't think it's that bad. And it's Fire Terra, which is fine. I can body press you now. They might start just clicking bulk up. Yep. Okay. Confirms it's faster than the Dachsbun, which isn't really a surprise. Oh, it's Vital Spirit. Annihilate. Oh. That is the one thing that could really give us a lot of trouble here. I'm actually not sure I can beat this very easily now. Well, it's still decent damage from... Interesting, they're not lefties either. Okay, maybe it's not as bad as I thought it was. Because a body press plus a Terror Blast actually probably just KOs. The thing is, an Annihilate could protect here, but I'm just going to keep targeting it. Like, once again, this Gyarados' damage output is fairly irrelevant right now. And the fact that it's not leftovers is a huge deal. Yeah, I think, like, they're going to bulk up, and then, like, you could Rage Fist or Drain Punch, but I still have Multi-Scale on Dragonite. It's probably Citrus here. Yeah. I'd much rather see Citrus than Leftovers, though, because Leftovers would be a total nightmare. They are going to break my Multi-Scale. Okay. Yeah, the thing about Thunderwave and Waterfall is your chances of paralysis are actually pretty decent, so... +2 Rage Fist right now is looking a little scary. At least they can't heal that much, though, so I'm going to protect him Body Press into Annihilate. Gyarados switches. And Tinglu, okay. As Annihilate protects, yep. Good play. Yeah, it's mainly this this Vital Spirit that changed everything. Because if Vital Spirit weren't a thing, I would have been able to just consistently target down Annihilate. Vital Spirit's really interesting because we're in a metagame where there's a ton of Gyarados and Arcanine right now. But yeah, it's super good here. I don't care about Tinglu that much right now. I can see it switching back out, but we have the Clear Amulet, so I'm going to just Body Press and Terra Blast. I'm just worried about Rage Fist doing enough to KO me now, like +2 Rage Fist. And it's got a couple stacks on it as well. Yeah, the Intimidate here is irrelevant for now. The Para earlier also hurt because it denied me a free attack into Annihilate. The upside is at least we have Clear Amulet, but let's see what they go for. Yeah. I honestly think this just KOs, but let's find out. Ooh. Yeah, like the problem here is that I wasn't able to boost the Dachsbun like too much more. Taunt wears off. I mean, I have Throw Punch and Sucker Punch here, so it's not really the end of the world. I think here, if I were my opponent, I would probably just... I'd protect Annihilate, honestly. I wonder if I want to make that read, let Annihilate protects then, and then like double up on a Gyarados. Because if you're my opponent, you would be worried about me protecting Shampao, Body Press, and then Throw Chop. So I think I might actually make the read here and double up on the Gyarados slot instead. I already feel behind in this game, so I'm willing to make a prediction like this. I just think Protect on my end and Body Press onto their end is the most obvious play, so perfect. They end up protecting Annihilate, good. First Throw Chop. I don't know if this KOs though. Ah, just falls short. Whirlpool! That's really cool. Wow, I have not seen that in quite a while. Okay. Look at it spin. Do a trick, Dachsbun. I'm down to Protect now and then Body Press into the Annihilate slot. This is going to be a really close finish, I think, but we were slowly chipping away at Annihilate. This is why I was saying, like, I'm really glad there's Citrus and not Leftovers, because, like, I think they would have gotten more value out of Leftovers in this specific battle. But Citrus Annihilate was something that started popping up a little bit more. Yeah, Gyarados switches into Tinglu. That makes sense. I wonder if it was worth... I don't know. Like, so basically, the reason I'm playing this turn the way I am is because I really, really do not want the Annihilate to get a free Drain Punch into the Chiampao slot, and they could bulk up here instead of clicking Yeah, okay, perfect. I was going to say, they could bulk up, so if I try to Sucker Punch, for example, that could potentially fail. Get another body press off. Okay, I would hope that's in KO range now. I think Ting Lu probably switches back out into Gyarados here. Light Screen wears off, but it was essentially irrelevant this entire battle. Yeah, we're just going to Throat Chop here and body press. I guess a single crit could still win me the game with Dachsbun against Annihilate as well, even if, like... I mean, here my opponent has to survive the turn, right? With Annihilate. Oh. They didn't switch into Gyarados. Okay. I was wondering if there was any chance Annihilate could survive if I was at -1 attack and they were at +2 defense with Xianpao's defense drop. I honestly have no idea, but... Okay, that works out beautifully. Dachsbun does like 60 with body press alone. They click Earthquake, that's fine. Yeah, now we just win. Nice job, Dachsbun. Like, Dachsbun stayed on the field this entire game, and even though we didn't get the yawn off against Annihilate, it ended up being totally okay. Because against Gyarados, we saw Whirlpool, Thunderwave, Waterfall. Taunt as the last move is what my guess would be. But this is what Dachsbun can do, right? Even just with one, like, defense, or I should say 2 defense boost from Chi Yu, it becomes an absolute menace. So we can just Throat Chop the Gyarados now and then just body press into Ting Lu. And once again, this is one of the reasons why Dachsbun is so nice. Like, we're in a format where, obviously, there are many room Pokemon, and all of them are part Dark type, and so Dachsbun having a super effective body press into them is super, super nice. So, yeah. This is why you might want to consider using this Pokemon, and why I think it's incredibly underrated in the format right now. So, I think the main thing here in this game was, like, because of Flying Terra and, like, Dachsbun, we had 2 Pokemon that essentially resisted the Annihilate Strain Punch, and without Annihilate having leftovers, it didn't really have that much good sustain. One really cool play my opponent could have made in that game would have actually been Drain Punching their own Ting Lu to heal all the way back up. Like, you essentially knock out your own Ting Lu, but make Annihilate just heal all the way back up. I actually think I may have just lost to that if they had found that play. Because Ting Lu was more or less, I would say, like, it was fairly irrelevant for my opponent in terms of damage output at that point, and it was mainly about Annihilate surviving for a little bit longer, but I was able to chip away at it enough where the Xianpao could just finish off the knockout onto it. So, self-targeting, kind of rare, but when you have potential recovery from it, I think it's actually a really interesting option. I was curious if my opponent potentially considered that, and I actually don't see too much downside to that play, quite frankly, and it's something I didn't even actually realize myself during the heat of the battle. But yeah, either way, you can continue to see how good Dachsbun can be, as it just once again does not faint throughout the battle. Oh, wow, okay. Really interesting team. We've got Snow with the Bombasol and Baxcalibur, a Rangaroo, so definitely have to respect Trick Room, Ting Lu, Arcanine, and Ceruledge. The thing about Ceruledge is you do have Flash Fire. It completely walls Chi Yu Dachsbun from the fire and the fighting parts. We do have Dark, though. Like Dark Pulse from Chi Yu. Dragonite's really interesting because Intimidate from the Arcanine's actually not going to do anything into us. Haven't really brought Flutter out at all, but I don't know. Just doesn't feel that good. It is interesting for a late game Perish Song, though. That's one option to consider. Zoomroll's pretty good here as well. I like 5 Mons other than, like, everyone but Flutters. I'm trying to figure out who to drop right now. Alright, I'll still lead Chi Yu Dachsbun. Xianpao in the back. I think I'm going to go with... I was going to go with a Azumarill, but I still really like Dragonite. Part of the reason I really like Dragonite is because of its matchup in a Ting Lu. Like, Ting Lu just can't go for ground type attacks onto it, so it's immune to Stomping Tantrum, Earthquake, Fissure, which is really nice for us. Yeah, that alone was already a good enough reason for me, but also, like, I think just Flying Terra Blast does a lot of damage, and they have Arcanine, but we have Clear Amulet here. That being said, they do have Abomasnow and Baxcalibur. Ceruledge and Ting Lu. Could consider a Terra here with Chi Yu. Dark Pulse into this. +2 defense boost immediately would be kind of nice, though. I think I'll start with the Lava Plume and a Body Press, but Cerulege does concern me a considerable amount. No Terras, no switches, no protects. Really solid damage onto Ting Lu. I don't know if this KOs. Yeah, it doesn't. Bruh. That's cool. I did not see that coming. What is going on? Well, I did not expect to get to +4 like that, but we'll take it. Cool. Interesting. So they probably just didn't know about Dachsbun's ability there. I'm happy to go into Dragonite here. Yeah. Weakness policy Ting Lu. That's really interesting. With multi-skill here, though, I feel like I can just go for a Terra Blast into Cerulege, and then just Body Press into Ting Lu. And the thing is, if the Cerulege ends up going for a Terra, like, then I can Body Press it, which is kind of nice. I'm just going for Terra here to maximize damage output with Terra Blasts. Deal hopefully over 50% to it. No Protect, nice. Ting Lu faints. Yeah, I think the other thing about Dachsbun is, like, not a lot of people actually have that much experience fighting against it, because this Pokemon's just never been meta in Scarlet and Violet VGC. So you really catch opponents off guard with it. Oh, that's such good damage. Nice. And they go for bulk up. That's fine. Yeah, I didn't even think about how much the Dachsbun walls the Cerulege, right? Because it's like, you just can't Bitter Blade me. So you can bulk up, Bitter Blade, protect, and then what? Shadow Sneak's your last? It's lefties, but looks like another Terra Blast will just KO from that range. So we should be very well positioned right now. Excalibur comes out. I can just Body Press that. I think here it's better to protect this turn and just go for Body Press onto Excalibur, because I want to scout out for what they want to do here. It's a pretty free Body Press into Bax. I guess they could tear into something that resists or is immune to fighting, but I'm not that scared about that. I still have Chien-Pao in the back, by the way, right, which can obviously deal with the Cerulege pretty easily. So, yeah. Feeling really good about the position right now. Honestly, the main question is whether or not I really needed to protect Dragonite here. Like, I was thinking they would just protect Cerulege and try to, like, you know, go for Ice Gold Crash on a Dragonite, then finish it off with an Ice Shard from Excalibur the next turn. And what's the worst case that could happen here? I guess the Cerulege could go for another, like, bulk up, for example, but I'm not really that worried about that. It's going to be the Excalibur tearing into Dragon. Oh, wow. Okay. I haven't really seen Dragon Excalibur that much. Obviously, it helps increase the damage of your Dragon type attacks, but I'm not that scared about that right now. Does so much damage. They go for another bulk up with Cerulege, which was quite a nice play. We would have just won there most likely by Terra Blasting Cerulege, and it's Icicle Spear into Dragonite. Okay, that's fine by me. Yeah, I don't even think Shadow Sneak Ice Shard KOs here, to be honest. The main thing is that they now probably survive this Terra Blast, but that's fine. I'll Terra Blast and then just Body Press. I think I probably should be considering Yawn as well. One of the things to note in this endgame is that the Dachsbun can't actually hit the Cerulege. I guess Cerulege can't really hit me either, so if we actually ended up in a 1v1, it would kind of come down to timer, but I think it would favor me because I have infinite recovery between Wish and Leftovers. Good sneak. I don't think Ice Shard should KO me from that range, though. Oh, they don't even Ice Shard. Okay. Cool. Yeah, so my opponent essentially went for a Terra with Excalibur just to survive for an extra turn, but in the end, it didn't make that much of a difference. Cerulege should probably survive this Terra Blast, but I could finish it off with another one. Yeah, it does survive just with a sliver. That's fine, though. I think, like, one of the things about Dachsbun as well is this ability to just really wall fire-type Pokemon. Things like Chi Yu, Scarlet here. I played against Torkoal while practicing with this team. Completely walled that. It's actually a Abomasnow is the last one. Okay. Cool. So that sets up the snow. We've got Champao in the back. Happy to just Terra Blast Scarlet and then Body Press into Abomasnow. Yep, another Sneak. That's fine. Even if you had Ice Shard here, I don't think it would KO. Oh my goodness. This Pokemon is so good. Like, it's legitimately so underrated right now. I am remarkably impressed by it. The Scarlet ends up fainting. Okay. Yeah, I wow. Like, it just... If your opponent doesn't have, like, a really strong Steel-type Pokemon in particular, I feel like you can just completely wall things while also dealing so much damage. And the Chi Yu is just such a nice way to boost it. Obviously, this game was made easier because my opponent went for Bitter Blade onto the little dog on turn 1. And that made things a lot easier for me. Getting me to +4 rather than +2 obviously just, like, accelerates my damage output. But, yeah, it was just never really threatened by damage throughout that course of the battle by that much. Alright, let's see if we can continue this streak. We've got Wo-Chien here. It's mainly special attackers. I'm not sure Dachsbun's really as good here. What do they threaten us with, though? I guess Sludge Bomb from Glimmora is what scares me the most. Glimora's really a decent threat into Dachsbun plus the Chi Yu. So I think we might want to index a little bit more on the physical attackers here early, and then consider using this in the late game against, like, Wo-Chien, for example. I could consider Flutter here. Get that special, or sorry, that speed boost. I could go Chi Yu Flutter. What would they lead with? The Glimmora lead does concern me a decent amount. I guess I could just Ghost Terra Dachsbun and then, like, Body Press it. You know, even though, like, I don't really see that clear of an answer against Glimmora, especially because it could, like, defensively Terra on turn 1. So I think I'll go with these two anyway. And in the back... Flutter Champao. Dragonite was okay here. I don't know. Flutter and Champao are just, like, so offensive and fast. Sometimes, like, a Azumarill is really interesting. I don't think it's bad here, but it's weak to Rotom Heat. It's weak to Freeze Drive from the Iron Bundle as well. There's just a lot I don't want to go up against with it. Ooh, okay. A booster energy here is really bad for Chi Yu. And I really would expect one of these two to have it. Okay, it's booster on the Flutter, though, which is less concerning. And it's special attack. Oh, wow. That's really ideal. Ugh, I'm almost thinking about clicking Snarl on turn 1. I think Lava Plume is just too good against these two. Yeah, I'll start off with Lava Plume and just Body Press. Dachsbun theoretically could get doubled up into right now. He almost one-shot Bundle. Wow. Double burn as well. Go for Hydro. Might be a double up onto Dachsbun. Ooh, that actually did more than I expected. Yeah, nice double up. The thing about that double up, though, is, like, I'm fine with it, right? Because, like, Chi Yu is still just exerting so much pressure. I could have considered Protect Dachsbun and Chi Yu Lava Plume turn 1. Like, if this were a best of 3, that's the adjustment I would make. Because, like, I would have just gotten so much free damage off, and then the next turn I knock out the bundle. I can Wish with the Dachsbun as well. Yeah, I can bring out Flutter now. I mean, the one awkward thing is I don't necessarily really want to hit my own Flutter right now with Lava Plume. I'm leaning towards Lava Plume and Protect this turn, then switch Chi Yu out next turn into, like, Dazzling Gleam, for example. I think this game highlights how you can effectively take care of Dachsbun, though. If you have a lot of strong special attackers, just launch your special attacks into it. And my opponent was, taking advantage of the Chi Yu special defense drop as well. So, yeah, that was really well done. It's one of those, though, where if I protect and they end up, like, hydro pumping me, I don't get any defense boost. That doesn't feel great. Although, the reality is that we're up against 2 special attackers right now, so don't necessarily need those defense boosts. Okay, they end up protecting. That's fine. I can just Shadow Ball that slot next turn. Yeah, it's okay. No Terra from either end yet. I am deeply concerned about Glamora in the back, though, I think. Like, that was... I led Chi Yu and Dachsbun to try to deal with that so I could body press it early on and fish for a burn, but... with that not coming out early... Oh, but you know what? Like, we have Parasol on Flutter, so if I just knock out their Flutter next turn, switch Chi Yu out, I can end the game with Parasol potentially. Actually, I end up bringing out Wo-Chien, okay. Which is fine. I think, like, Perish is perfect against that in the end game. So, yeah, I'm down to switch into Chien-Pao here. Go for Shadow Ball. Because if we get that knocked out, then it's a 3v2. Then the next turn I can go protect Perish Song. One thing to consider, though, is if I'm clicking Perish Song, can I actually win the game with it? Because, like, I'm relying on really frail Pokemon to survive the couple of turns with it. But between Protect and Focus Sash on Chien-Pao and the Wo-Chien being really passive on my opponent's end, I think it's doable. But they make a great switch. There's the Glamora. And a Terra. Yeah, nicely done. Very nicely done. Fire Terra. Okay. Yeah, it's pretty scary to go up against. It's not really that much damage. They just end up clicking Snarl, though, I guess. So it could be worse. What do I do here? I'm thinking of, like, trying to snipe down Glamora. So, like, Dark Terra here. And just go for, like, Throat Chop into it. As well as, Shadow Ball. I don't know if this KOs is the thing. Because I'll be at -1 special attack. I'm really not sure how defensive Glamora is relative to our Chien-Pao here. Like, Dark Terra, Throat Chop obviously does a pretty decent amount. If we get the knockout, I'm feeling really good about our position, because then I can just Sucker Punch their Flutter to cover for that slot attacking and then Perish Song. And I think, like, Wo-Chien's too passive to win against Perish Song in the end game. I just needed to do over 50% here. I'm pretty sure it will. Oh, how bulky is that? How much bulk do you need to survive that turn? Wow. They do end up Power Gemming, to which I survive. Another Snarl? Leech Seed. That's fine. I'll take that. We're still in it. Yeah, I'm taking advantage of the fact that Wo-Chien's just so passive right now. So I'm not to Protect here. You can heal back all you want. Protect plus Dazzling Gleam here. Actually, there's no point in Gleaming. It's not like the damage on Wo-Chien even matters. Might as well just Shadow Ball, because it covers for a Flutter switch in. And in the off chance, somehow, like, Glamora even survives Dazzling. Okay. Get the knockout onto that slot. Think this next turn I Sucker Punch Flutter, Perish Song with, yeah, and they try to Pollen Puff. Oh, but into Wo-Chien. That makes things actually really interesting. Because I have this Chi Yu in the back. Could Chi Yu win? Pollen Puff, Leech Seed, Wo-Chien, which is pretty standard. Basically, the play I'm thinking is I can Sucker Punch here and Perish Song. I just protected. I'll go for it. Yeah, they do protect, though. I can't help but think if I switched Wo-Chien out there, that would have probably just been game over, but I think it's still okay. Is it okay? Maybe it's not. Because, like, I'm not sure my Shadow Ball KOs their Flutter, especially with me being at -1 special attack. I think if we KO Flutter Mane outright here, we should just win for sure. They're under 50. I honestly would bet on them surviving here. Essentially, the way to win the endgame is, like, we just need Chi Yu to not take... Oh, actually, with Choice Scarf, we're fine. Never mind. Yeah, with Scarf, all I do is just make sure I don't miss my attacks. I can go for... Yeah, we're going to rely on winning off Perish Song, so we're just going to Dark Pulse here, plus Shadow Ball here. We'll knock out the Flutter. Let's see if Shadow Ball alone would have KO'd. Actually, with the special defense drop as well from Chi Yu, I also forgot about that. We were probably fine, but... The question is, can we get to the point where we win off Perish Song, right? Because we're not doing that much with Dark Pulse right now. They're going to Snarl. I think it's fine. Essentially, like, Chi Yu's taking poison damage plus whatever damage the... Wo-Chien wants to do, but it's Snarl, Leech Seed, right? Like, and a Pollen Puff and Protect. So this is the end game I was going for, where you just can't knock out Chi Yu quickly enough and you faint from Perish Song. I took 27 damage there, and so my opponent would essentially need 4 more turns to win right now with poison and Snarl damage. So we'll just Dark Pulse again. Shadow Ball here. Yeah, like, I figured I wasn't going to win this game off late game damage, thanks to how bulky the Wo-Chien is. Honestly doing decent damage right now. End up Hollow Puffing. How much does this do? Okay. Should be okay. We should still be just about 50% after this turn, and it's the last turn of Perish. Okay. 72 down to 56. Slightly lower, but yeah, I don't think they need a crit here to win the game, essentially. Without a crit, we win from Perish Song. So Dark Pulse and Shadow Ball again. I wonder if there's any chance this combo actually just KOs as well. If we got a special defense drop, maybe. Just fall short. But flinch means that they don't even have a crit chance. Nice. Yeah, like, my opponent would have needed a ton to go right in this endgame to win, because a single Dark Pulse flinch, I think, would secure the game up for us at any point. They could have considered a double Protect with Flutter Mane. Fortunately, they didn't go for that, which meant, like, I'd focus my efforts on Wo-Chien a little bit sooner. So, yeah. Dachsbun obviously didn't put in as much work in this game, but it diverted a lot of resources away from the Chi Yu, which was able to just do so much damage in the early game. And I think the speed advantage helped out a ton here, right? Like the Scarf Chi Yu, the booster energy plus speed on Flutter Mane, allowing us to outspeed the opposing Flutter Mane was really, really valuable. And in the end, I think this game showed how you can effectively deal with Dachsbun, which is having these really strong special attackers immediately just like launch attacks into it. So yeah, but I was really, really impressed by this team, and I had a lot of fun with it. So hopefully it's opened your eyes to the potential of the Chi Yu Dachsbun combination in this format. So that's going to be it for this one. Thank you so much as always for watching. If you enjoyed, would really appreciate if you consider leaving a like or subscribing to the channel, and I'll see you all next time. All right, peace.